What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and today we got a lot of spoilers. So yesterday, if you follow me on X at Vampyr Gaming, you would have saw the first OP11 leak, that being a Nami. We're not going to talk about that Nami, but that Nami is absolutely busted. It sold out on Premium Bandai in several minutes. Full kit sold out in under 7 minutes. But in today's video, we're going to talk about how you should hit that subscribe button. Outside of that, we're going to talk about OP11, the 3 leaders that were just revealed, but I'm going to have emphasis on the Luffy leader because, in my opinion, it is, as you know, obtuse rubber goose. Dare I say, green moose guava juice even. Absolutely Hannah Bananas, out of this world. I'm so fired up. It's like Marco, but like on steroids is how I see it. It is just the greatest combination. So let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at these cards. So first up, we've got Weepy Toshi. You may know her as Shirahoshi. It's a green, yellow leader. This leader cannot attack Merfolk and Fishman Island. Activate main once per turn. You may set one of your Dawn. You may rest one of your Dawn and flip the top card of your life face up. You may play from your hand up to one character with the Sea King type, or up to one Megalo character with a cost equal to or less than the Dawn on your board. So what this tells me is every card in this color is going to be support for this. Or this deck's going to be the most unplayable leader we've ever seen. So can't attack, but can flip one life up. So, of course, that tailors to yellow. And we do know yellow is a Nami, and we know the green leader. So we know green's going to favor more water-based stuff. More fishman, dare I say. So I don't know if Sea King is going to be part of that. But it feels like this could potentially, because, of course, Sea Kings are the big beast in the water that everyone is terrified of. So there could be a lot of very powerful characters in this deck and things of that nature. And of course, Megalo, which is a little shark that we see her with in cards frequently. TBD, you know, I checked. We don't have any Megalo card, but you can play it equal to it. So it's almost like Calgara in that, right? And then you have green, which of course can run like Eustace Captain Kidd. But let's go ahead and talk about like the support. Oh yeah, there really isn't any outside of like generic green or yellow support. There is the Nami, which Nami takes a life two hand and does KOing. So that Nami is absolutely busted, but I think we can talk about that in a different video. But be sure you can find it. Actually, I think they took it down from Premium Bandai. But so there really isn't much support that we know for Shirahoshi. As far as we know, again, like, you know, we go back, you think like Eustace Captain Kidd, any kind of general yellow cards, things like that, but there's nothing top of mind that screams, like, you know, there's nothing that's going to have synergy with this leader, just like the cards that you see people playing like Red Green Law or things like that, you know, maybe even 8-drop Eustace. That's from OP10, but I don't think there's anything really like that screams, oh, you know, there's, like, in terms of existing support, I don't think there's anything that's going to scream, I make this deck good. Now, of course, the first son of the sea, Jinbe, Boss Jinbe. Let me hear, who's excited for the Jinbe leader? Let me know in the comments below. I know this is he's one of the more beloved Straw Hats, and he, of course, has the Straw Hat crew tag, which is big, and he has the Fishman tag. So end of your turn, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, which is not a huge requirement, typically, especially in a blue format, we're playing with 6 or less cards just to play around pudding, and we don't want to like big grip cards. Set up to one of your Fishman or Merfolk type characters and up to 1 Dawn as active. So plays into having events, and then also, you know, Fishman or Merfolk being able to restand, being able to protect those characters from being swung into, which I think is super interesting and very Jinbe-esque. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens here. We're going to take a look at some other cards, but first, in terms of like existing support, top of mind, you know, we have Arlong. Arlong is actually a pretty decent card overall. And then, of course, we want to meet that 6-card threshold. Helps us keep our hand a little bit lower. Also in a Doflamingo format, right? Up to one of your opponent's rested leaders may not attack until the end of their next turn. So then they cannot attack. And it turns off Dofi ability. Then, of course, Hody, you can restand Hody. So Hody gets a swing, you get the restand Hody, and you get a Don back on curve. Overall, pretty solid. And you get the rest characters. So he's pretty good. And then, of course, Kami. I think Kami is one of the biggest things that people have been having their eyes on. Because, of course, she searches Fishman or Merfolk. So she's going to be your Jinbe searcher. I've seen the alt see a little bit of movement. Be sure to hit subscribe for the OP11 hype market watch. I don't want to do one just yet. I want to wait for things to settle. There's a couple things I have my eyes on that haven't made any movement. So hopefully a little bit, you know, again, all this is subjective to what's in the set, but this is just based off the knowledge that we have now. It doesn't hurt to make these educated guesses, but be sure to subscribe to not miss that. And then just overall, like, there's a couple Merfolk cards, but there isn't a lot. But these are, like, kind of the package we're looking at right now in terms of existing Fishman for the color green. We do, of course, you get Noah's Ark, which is kind of cool. Nothing super special about it. But, you know, you've got, like, the 2K Jinbe, which is just a 2K searchable Jinbe. There isn't any like blockers that scream big value because you can't like block or swing and like restand a blocker yet. So interesting to see what kind of support we get on the Jinbe side. All right, super quick, gonna interrupt the video here just because I wanted to put a couple. I know a couple people have been asking about these. You might have seen them in Purpose Sleeves video or wherever else. We got the Perona sleeves. We've got the Robin sleeves. These are all ready to ship. They ship to you rather quickly. You get these in hand. Number 2 way to support me. Number 1 way to click the free TCG link. Number 1 way to support me if you're interested in these, looking to expand with a year of the Snake Boa. Interesting to see what happens there, but feel free to check out the sleeves, vamptcg.com. We also have the Card Guard Stylish leader loaders. They're out of stock right now. I sold through all of them, but you can sign up for the email list and we'll notify once they are back. Yeah, you can sign up like right there at the bottom. But typically you can get these for $11 with any pair of sleeves, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get back to the video. Now, my pride and joy, the deck that's got me absolutely fired up. We've got Monkey D. Luffy, and is the second time we've seen Bandai willing to create a 3-life character with 6,000 power. He is blue-purple. OP11 Straw Hat Crew. Okay, you may activate this effect at the start of your turn. So this is before the refresh phase. This is before the refresh phase and before your draw phase. This is very important. If you have 8 or more Dawn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Straw Hat type character and add it to your hand. Type card. Type card. 1 Straw Hat type card. So you can add Gum Gum Giant. You can add, Gum Gum Rain. You can add the other 0 cost. Because purple and blue 0 cost are both Luffy events. And add it to your hands. You can add a 2K. You can add Sanji. Okay. And then place the remaining cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. The top or bottom, which means you can stack it like we were with Marco, but inherently with leader ability. So leader ability, if you read it correctly, it's draw 2, because I'm going to draw, then I get to tailor my draw, and then I get to know the other 3 cards in my deck. So you get to stack the top 3. So then you can play Sanji. We're going to talk about that, but this leader is essentially, once you're at 8 Dawn, draw 2, and every turn you will draw 2. And you can either keep them on top or bottom, and so you will know everything that's coming, and you can do, again, like Gum Gum Giant. Boom, which is also another draw 2. Insane possibilities with a 6K leader, all right? 6,000 power leader, and he's a draw 2. So even though he's got a 3 life, he's got that value. I think this card is massively underrated. A lot of people, you know, talk about aggro, but you're a 6K leader, which just goes a very long way. And then you, of course, can still play 7 Eustace, which I also am a fan of. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, some of the combos, okay? All right. Let's take a look at just overall support cards. So I think the biggest card in the deck is going to be Sanji. And so pretty much any high cost character that you can play off of Sanji can go a long way. Crocodile we have to rule out. Vinsmoke we have to rule out. You know, a lot of these aren't good in the 8th suite, but you of course have things like Uda. Dawn -2, all your leaders and characters gain +1000. So you can buff them up quite a bit, which goes a very long way. It is -2, so this is ideal on 10, but you, of course, have Douglas Bullet, which we'll talk about. Great target. You could even go Aramaki, because you have blue, and then you do get the bottom deck at 2 cost, and have him gain power, so he can become an 11, so he can be huge for lethal. I do wish we had this Kaido. Every day I wish we had this Kaido. We have yet to see it in any capacity, but then, of course, you do also have the Doflamingo. Then if you for some reason want to play a Doflamingo package, you can play that, and then you know you can use it, rest, active, all that fun, interesting stuff. But then we look at the 9s, right? Now, of course, there's Sanji, but you've got some of the best top end in purple. You've got the Lin, and you've got the Rush Luffy. So you can spit this out, play this -1 Dawn, and then you're generating value. So because you stacked your deck and played this from there, Sanji essentially becomes a draw 1, and you're not losing value on your 6K 3 life leader that draws 2. And you get to go and swing with like Luffy. Well, again, we'll talk about these a little bit more, but you've got this full suite of characters. Even you can even look at like 7s, because these aren't like the worst options. You know, you got Eustace, Captain Kidd, Borsalino, even OP9, you know, we're looking at Kyros, return of 5. So thick body, Kyros, great on curve, things like that. Even Luffy Taro, but again, we'll talk about these. But just wanted to kind of like give you an idea of all the cards like within the suite of characters you might be playing in the Luffy. So let's take a look. So first off, you can play like a turn 4 Sanji. So you go first, turn 1, pass. Turn 2, your 3 Dawn turn, gonna play Zoro. Then the next turn, we're gonna play out a Bonclay. Our opponent's gonna go, you know, they're gonna go 4, we're gonna go 5. We're gonna swing, go 6. Bonclay goes 7. If we want, we can play something else with those extra 2 Dawn, 3 Dawn. And then next turn, we're gonna play Sanji. We're gonna be lead search live. And we're going to play Sanji because we're going to double ramp, go to 7. If you're going second, it's like the same thing, but you get to go to 8. Sadly, you know, you won't get to use the ability. But, you know, Zoro on 3, Bonclay. You could even play Miss All Sunday, you know, cheaper than Bonclay or Bentham. A little bit cheaper, slightly better body in mid-game. Bonclay being like an absolute goat, though, like late game. But you also get the benefits of the trigger, and you get the value to draw 1. Again, we love those good value plays. Then you get to play, you know, you get the lead surge, stack, play Sanji. And it's just absolutely insane. So the turn 4 Sanji, you can just ramp up there, get there super quick, get there a whole turn sooner than you would, and your opponent's like playing from behind. And when you play this, your opponent already becomes instantly behind. You can establish some of the craziest threats. And of course, basic combo. I think this is going to be, you know, this is a winner because you get to play this. Again, you know, you can Dawn -1, draw a card. So you stack, you search, you stack. You can make it to where your draw for turn is Sanji. Your next card is Monkey D. Luffy. And then you get to pick the card you're going to draw off of Monkey D. Luffy. So you want to stack a 2K. So you search the 2K. You make your draw Sanji. You play Sanji. You play Luffy. Luffy ability, return 1, draw a 2K. You just drew 2Ks and established huge threats. Like, just that fact, to me, it's literally, it's everything, because they have value plays. It's everything that I felt like I wish I could do with Marco. And so, but you get blue-purple. I would still love it if it was blue-red. Blue-red, then I'm just playing some crazy stuff, and I'm an 8K leader forever. But, you know, it is what it is. But the fact you get to search and tailor your top deck, I think is going to go a very long way. And of course, similar thing, we talked about it, Eustace Captain Kid. I think this is just easy. Because then you establish the kid, they either answer this threat or that threat, and you're a 7k leader during the turn. We don't have like Red Purple Luffy does, where we get like Newgate or Shanks, which applies a lot more pressure to your opponent's characters and makes them minus. So we really got to rely on these guys, and I think they go a long way. I think Eustace Captain Kid definitely has a place in this deck, assuming no other support. And then, of course, I think the number one people are talking about, you can use your ability to tailor to search to find these cards. So you can go leader ability, search, find Songoro, stack Sanji. I'm going to draw Sanji. Sanji's going to play Luffy Taro, then I play my Songoro. And you just spit out a ton of this. And if you do this on curve, on 9, you just played 21 Dawn worth of characters on your Dawn turn. This one's a little bit more hand taxing. I'm not a huge fan of this. Luffy Taro on curve probably feels a lot better, but then of course you want to do Sanji on 9 as it stands. If you play Sanji on 9, I think you're just super winning, but you want to play Sanji in like a good spot, right? And then of course this one, shout out Ikai Lakai. I feel like I say his name wrong every time, and I probably do. He's also on YouTube. He just made a video kind of talking about this combo, but just overall, Sanji Lin is very strong. You play this heal a life on your 3-life leader, so now you're a 4-life leader. But on top of that, again, we get to stack our deck, so you can choose what card is going to go on the top of your life, almost like Queen. Queen used to tailor the top of their life. They used to stack that beige. They used to stack, the 0 cost, whatever. Same thing, we can do it here, but we get to do it for free. So then you're going to go Linland, you're going to heal this, and if you hit it like a peel off, you lose 0 value. You lose no value at all. That's insane to me. Insane. Like, there's so much you can do with this leader. It just blows my mind. And then, finally, this combo, I think, is one of the nastiest. I call it the nasty patty, okay? So you're a 6-life leader. You get to apply pressure. That is, that's what 6k power leaders do. You're going to apply pressure. It costs a little bit more. Your Dawn goes a lot further on the build-up. You hit 9 Dawn. You play, usability. You play a Sanji. You play a Douglas Bullet. And then after that, assuming both stick, because like outside of Lucci, no other deck is going to have a card to remove your Douglas outside of Lucci. You go, your turn, you're going to play Charlotte Pudding, assuming that they have any cards in hand. Then you get to minus that Dawn, rest any blockers, and if they have 3 life, you can go 9, 11, 11 for lethal and just cost them a ton of cards. Even worse, if they're at 2 life and they have anything more than 5 cards in hand, you play Pudding, they lose those cards, you can go 10, 11, and you still have like the Sanji, then you go 9, and then you go, depending on if you go 11, right, then you have 5 left, and you can go 11 again, so, or even 12, you can go 10, 9, 12 for lethal, when they start with 5 cards, and they go to a 7, you go 9, it costs them 3, and then you go 12 or 11. Going to cost them more, so their whole hand has to be counter. Now, granted, do I think this is the greatest combination? No. Just because it's not going to be as consistent, but you have deck cards like Pudding and a potentially aggressive leader. So you put a lot of pressure on them. You play a Pudding. If they're at 7 cards, you put them down to that. Then you Douglas minus, rest their blockers. Insane. I just feel like there's so much that can be done here and so much pressure. Douglas Bull is one of my favorite cards. I know ever since Johnny started playing it and Red Purple Luffy, I was like, this card's just absurd. And so I'm a huge fan of it. Do I think it's going to be great? Maybe, maybe not. Because, I'm assuming we're going to get a large drop Snakeman that's going to partner with Sanji. That's my assumption. We don't know yet, but be sure to stay in the know on everything with OP11, everything competitive, One Piece, and just to stay up to date. It helps me out a ton. But yeah, do I think that this is the greatest? No, but I think if you resolve this, it's the grossest thing that could ever happen to somebody. They're just like, wow, that just happened. Because he costs 4, so you got to pay 4 for something. It might as well be Pudding. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. What leader are you looking forward to in the comments below? And I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.